Hello and welcome to the Michigan Education Trust presentation. Today we are going to discuss Michigan's 529 prepaid tuition savings program. We hear about it all the time, but what are the benefits of college? One of the best benefits of college is increase in potential earnings. Currently, 79% of higher paying jobs in the state of Michigan require a bachelor's degree or higher. And on here you can kind of see the breakdown of what that may look at like with different degree options. If you haven't been in college for a while or looked at the prices recently, you can see here some of the prices of some colleges around Michigan as well as out of state. From 2005 to 2021, tuition at the Michigan's 15 public universities has risen more than 100%. University of Michigan right now for a freshman, you're looking at about $30,000 per year. Upperclassmen pay more. Central is pretty close to average of the Michigan prices for the public universities. Freshmen are about $24,400, upperclassmen about $1,000 more. A great way to save some money is maybe to start at a community college. You can see Grand Rapids Community College tuition prices there. You also have the option of going to a private Michigan school or an out-of-state school. One of the biggest reasons why you're probably looking at saving for future education costs is to minimize any kind of future debt your student or even you have to take on. Student debt in Michigan, the average debt load is a little over $33,000 per student. About 59% of college grads have some sort of student loan debt here in the state of Michigan. One thing that's not talked about very much is parent debt, because there is a limit on the amount of federal student aid that a student can get in the terms of federal loans. Once they reach that limit, if they don't have scholarships or savings to make up the difference, they're kind of cut off and they have to look for private loans, or a parent has to take on that debt. And Parent Plus loans actually account for 30% of all student loan debt. And the average borrower owes $27,000, and it does not include any kind of interest. So saving today can really save you from having to pay back more money in the future. Another very common question is, well, what are the tax advantages of this? Is it going to impact financial aid eligibility? And the great things is that there's a lot of tax advantages, and there's also very little impact on federal financial aid eligibility. So the advantages of an account like a MET account is that a purchaser can actually deduct their contributions into a MET during any calendar year from their state of Michigan income tax. So if you put in $20,000 into your MET program during a year and you have at least that amount of income to deduct from, you can take that as a state of Michigan deduction. So it can help you save some money on your taxes come tax time. Also, that money will grow tax-free if it's used for qualified education expenses in the future. If for some reason your student decides not to attend college in the future and you take this money out for a non-qualified withdrawal, you would pay taxes on the earnings. But if they use it for any kind of education, there is no taxes on the earnings. As far as financial aid impact, it's very small. In most cases, MET is going to be considered a parental asset, so only 5.64% of the whole value of your MET account can be taken into consideration when determining any kind of need-based aid. So it really has a small impact, versus if you were to put that money in a student savings account, 20% of the value will be taken into account when determining aid. If you were to put the money in your IRA and withdraw that money for education expenses, it's not going to impact your financial aid that first year, but the second year it's going to be considered income, and up to 50% of that withdrawal can be considered when determining financial aid. So it really doesn't hurt you to save in a 529 plan like MET. So let's talk a little bit more about what MET is, how it's used, how you can get started. MET has been around for 35 years. It allows parents, grandparents, really anybody to save for future education costs by prepaying tuition. So you buy tuition credits now based upon today's price, and then MET pays out at future tuition costs. It is used for tuition and mandatory fees, best used at a Michigan public university or community college, but MET funds can also be directed to Michigan private universities, out-of-state schools. You can even direct funds to trade school. And of course, if the student decides not to attend college in the future, you can either terminate the contract for a refund, or you can transfer those credits to a new beneficiary, a relative of the original beneficiary. So you do have a lot of flexibility with how you use your MET. Purchasing MET is easy. You're going to have one purchaser. That's going to be the parent or the grandparent, but you don't have to be related to the student to purchase MET for them. You're going to have one beneficiary. That's your future student. The beneficiary does have to be a Michigan resident at the time of purchase, but they can move out of state the next day. They just need to have a Michigan address initially. There are no age restrictions. So while it is better to purchase MET for a younger student because it's less expensive to buy MET for a younger student versus an older student, you can be any age to get a MET purchase for you. We do have current college students who get MET bought for them because it gives their parents some tax advantages and it gives them a little reassurance that that tuition is covered. You have the option to name an appointee. This is not required, but it's a third person you can list on the account who can get information about the account. They can call and ask us questions about how many credit hours are left or what the payments were made to the school. Can't really do anything, but it's helpful sometimes, especially if you're a parent, grandparent purchasing MET. It might be a good idea to have a parent listed on there as the appointee. You can also check a box that says if something were to happen to you as the purchaser, the appointee can take over the powers of the purchaser down the line. If the original student does not use all of their MET credits, they can transfer unused credits to a relative of their own. It could be a sibling, a niece, a nephew, their own children someday. Goes all the way out to first cousin. That person does not have to be a Michigan resident. So if you buy MET for your child grows up, doesn't use all their credits, they have a child of their own, but now they don't even live in Michigan, those credits could still be transferred to your grandchild. So it's a great way to keep MET going. Beneficiaries have 15 years from their expected high school graduation date to use their MET. So they can use it at school, they can transfer it to a new beneficiary, who will get a new expiration date of 15 years past their high school grad year, or the beneficiary can terminate it for a refund. So you have quite a bit of time to make a decision, so you don't have to use MET straight after high school. It gives you a little more flexibility in how you use it. You have 3 plan options to choose from. We have 2 university plans and a community college plan. The community college plan is going to be your least expensive plan. You're going to buy community college credits at that price. It'll be used for in-district tuition and mandatory fees. If that student decides not to attend a community college, they want to go straight to a 4-year university, that's fine. We can convert your community college credits into dollars and pay those dollars to the university. So it's a great way to maybe save a little money, but it gives you flexibility in case they decide not to attend a community college. Full benefits and limited benefits are our university plans. Full benefits is like your top tier plan. It's going to cover credit for credit at any Michigan public university. It can be the most expensive school or the least expensive school. Doesn't matter. However many credits you've purchased, we will pay whatever those credits cost to the school at that time. If you have a full benefits plan and the student decides not to attend a Michigan public university, maybe they want to go out of state, we can convert your credit hours into dollars based upon the average of the Michigan public universities at the time the student goes out of state, and then we pay those dollars to that university. May or may not cover the full cost of the out-of-state school, but you can still use those dollars there. Limited benefits is also a university plan, but it's less expensive for you to purchase. But if you have a limited benefits plan and the student attends what we consider an above average cost school, so you want to think University of Michigan Ann Arbor, Michigan State, Michigan Tech, we prorate the number of credits that we're going to pay to that school. So for example, this fall 2022, if you have 30 credits on a limited benefits plan, which is about a year, and the student decides to attend University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, instead of MET paying U of M Ann Arbor 30 credits, we're going to pay them 27 credits. So it's a few credits that we don't cover by class a year. It's how it averages out, but you paid less for that contract to begin with. But if the student attends any of the other Michigan public universities, like Central, Western, Oakland, Ferris, all sorts of Grand Valley, all sorts of universities, on unlimited benefits, it's covered credit for credit. The other difference between full and limited is if a student decides to attend an out-of-state college on a limited benefits plan, we convert to dollars again, but this time we're converting to dollars based upon the lowest cost Michigan public university at that time and sending those dollars out of state. So less dollars going out of state, but you paid less for the plan. You can, of course, mix and match these plans as well. So you could do 2 years of community college and 2 years of limited benefits. It can still get your student a bachelor's degree on a transfer plan. Comes in about half the cost of 4 years of full benefits. So there are ways to kind of mix and match and make sure it fits within your goals and your budget. Once you choose a plan option, you choose a purchase option. Our most flexible option and most popular is pay-as-you-go. Pay-as-you-go allows you to buy a minimum of 1 credit hour in the plan of your choice to get it started. After that, you can put money in whenever you'd like in any amount, as long as it's $25 or more. So every time you put money in, you're going to be buying credits or fraction of credits based upon the prices in effect at the time you put the money in. And you just kind of build your piggy bank of credits until the student is ready to use them. So if you want to set up monthly payments on a pay-as-you-go or payroll direct deposit on pay-as-you-go, you can do that. If you want to just make a payment one time, that's fine too. The pay-as-you-go per credit price is exactly the same as what a lump sum per credit price would be. The only difference is pay-as-you-go, that account is left open for future contributions. It's also a great option for friends and family to make contributions for gifts or holidays. Lump sum, you're going to choose however many semesters you want to buy on the particular plan you're looking at, and you're going to pay whatever the cost is for that. That contract will then be purchased, closed to future contributions, but it'll be ready to be used whenever the student needs it. Monthly payment, you choose how many semesters you ultimately want to purchase and how long you want to pay on that, and then MET tells you what that monthly payment amount is going to be. That monthly payment amount will not change for the duration of your payment plan. Monthly payment plans are available in 4, 7, 10, or 15-year plan durations. Your requirement is that the student has to graduate high school before that monthly payment plan is complete. So you can't put a freshman in high school on a 10-year payment plan. They have to finish that payment plan before you graduate. The nice thing with monthly payment plans is that the price is never going to change. You'll be locked in for the duration of your plan. The downside to monthly payment is that there's a 5.5% rate of return built into your payments. Think of it kind of like an interest rate. So over the course of time, you are going to pay more on a monthly payment plan than you will a lump sum payment plan. So it's kind of up to you on how you want to set it up and what works best for your budget. Like I said, pay-as-you-go is the most popular just because if you want to make monthly recurring payments, you can, or you don't have to. You can start and stop as needed. What happens if my student gets a scholarship, attends out of state, or doesn't go to college? Don't worry. We don't know what these children are going to want to do, especially if you're buying for a really young child. MET works really well with scholarships. If you get a full scholarship, that's great. There are refund provisions to where you can terminate the contract. A refund goes to the refund designee. There probably will be some earnings on that. You would have to pay taxes on the earnings if you're going to terminate it for a scholarship. Most likely what's going to happen is your student's going to get a partial scholarship. In that case, what can happen is the school can still bill Met for the full tuition. When Met pays the tuition, essentially we'll have overpaid because that student had a scholarship on their account. So then the Met money can be put towards something else on the bill, like room and board, or books, or refunded to the student as an overpayment. So even though Met can only get billed for tuition and mandatory fees, once that money goes to the school, if the student already has something taken care of part of that tuition and mandatory fees, then Met money can be used for something else. If the student decides to attend a private Michigan college, you can use Met funds there. We already kind of talked about how Met funds are used at out-of-state colleges. If the student decides to attend a trade school, you can use Met funds that are sent to the refund designee to pay the trade school. And of course, if the student decides not to attend college, you do have those refund and transfer options. The most important thing on this slide, though, is that bottom line. If Met ever does a calculation to where the numbers that we would pay you come out less than what you paid us, we give you back the difference. If college costs ever go down and we pay the school less than what you paid us, we give you back the difference. So with Met, you'll never get the less than what your prepaid tuition was. So it gives you that extra peace of mind that your tuition is taken care of. You don't have to worry about getting less than what you put in, but you also can take advantage of those tax deductions. Once you decide all of your plan options and payment options, you can enroll online. Our website is setwithmet.com. It's really easy to enroll on there. You'll just want to make sure that you have names, birth dates, and social security numbers of anyone you're going to be listing on the account. If you're unsure of what you want to do, what the different plan options mean for you, feel free to schedule a virtual one-on-one appointment. If you go to that website, setwithmet.com, there is a quick links menu option, and under quick links you'll find a make an appointment link. So you can choose the time and day that works best for you to have a virtual one-on-one appointment with a staff member. Of course, you can always call us. We can answer questions over the phone. You can also request your free enrollment kit by calling Met, and you can see the phone number on your screen. So thank you very much for joining me today. If you have any questions, please feel free to give Met a call, schedule that one-on-one, or visit our website.